let's move on quickly now. Let's go to boxing. We're still talking about that incredible upset that happened over the weekend at the Madison Square Garden involving Andy Ruiz Jr. taking on Anthony Joshua. We've talked about all that reaction already, but Andy Ruiz has come out to say would like to do a rematch against Anthony Joshua, this time in Mexico. After the match, after the fight, beg your pardon, Eddie Hearns came out and sounded very sure of himself that we're going to be doing the rematch in the UK. But Andy Ruiz has had something to say about that, and it says, I'd love to do the rematch, but first I've got to talk to my team. We'll go from there and figure things out. I'd love it to be in Mexico. There's never been a heavyweight champion in Mexico, so I'd love to have a rematch there. So this is all going to be determined during negotiations and all that. We don't know what's in the contract, the clause. No one has seen it apart from him and his management. Exactly. So that'll be very interesting. A heavyweight world championship bout in Mexico.
Will Anthony Joshua want to go there?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
That's a no.
That's a no. All you have to do is just bring out more money, and I'm sure this guy wants to come to England.
Go to England. Yeah. I think so as well. I think so as well. So, but fingers crossed, we'll see how it pans out. We need to go on a break now, and we'll come back. It's going to be all about the Flying Eagles that are out of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. We're going to be reviewing the performance in Poland. Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Bada Akitunde Johnson joins us now. He's always around whenever there's a holiday because he's a very busy guy, football pundit extraordinaire. Bada, it's great to have you on the show.
Oh, very kind words from you. Baraka de Salado, viewers, that must be said. Congratulations on completing the fast, and it's a big holiday, which is why I'm here again.
I know. All right, let's talk about the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. We're going to see confirmation of all the results of the round of 16 matches that were played yesterday. Unfortunately, it's the end of the road for Nigeria. They took on Senegal. It was a West African derby in Poland. Senegal prevailed in that match by 2-1. In other matches, it was Ukraine, convincing win over Panama. Not a surprise to a lot of people that have been monitoring the progress in Poland. And the other matchup between Ecuador, South American derby, ended 3-1 in favor of Ecuador, and the Nigeria won 2-1 in favor of Senegal. Let's start from there quickly. But are you in any way, shape, surprised that this Flying Eagles side, for me, the one has to be the most underwhelming set of Flying Eagles that I've seen in my own lifetime? Are you in any way surprised that they're out in the round of 16 after fumbling and wobbling into that stage?
Quite honestly, the emotion that I feel is not surprise. It is near embarrassment, not necessarily because of their performance, and I hate to be controversial. The truth is, I know an under-20 side when I see one. I felt like, again, we blew the chance to take, youngsters to a World Cup and expose them at the top level and allow for this tournament to represent what fundamentally it was created for, which is to give real youngsters an opportunity to learn at the big stage.
Real youngsters
and give us a chance 10, 15 years down the line to have world beaters on our hands. Unfortunately, we haven't done that, and we've taken a team that is ragtag at best to a tournament where they struggled to string passes together. There was no coordination, there was no cohesion in their play, there was not a lot of fluidity and fluency or even intent to what it was they were doing. That game yesterday, we were lucky to have scored from the deflection of a tamely taken free kick, it must be said. It could have gone on for 2-3 days and we wouldn't have scored another one. Second half, we had all of the dominance because we were staring elimination in the face, kept the ball mostly in useless areas of the pitch. The coach couldn't find incision critically in the final third. Each time we got up top, the quality of the final ball let us down. And it was just, try, fail, repeat again, try, fail, repeat again, for 90 minutes in truth. And you saw each time the Senegalese had the ball, they were, more cohesive. They had a plan. They knew what they wanted to do. Every time they got the ball through the middle, they walked wide. There was an overload. They crossed it down to the center. There was a man getting on the end of it.
Right.
I mean, it was like a science, and that's what football at this level should be, because unlike at the top level, where at the national team level, you don't have the luxury of playing your players together over a long period of time, this is a team that would have been in the works for so many months leading up. So if you look at the Uruguayans, the Ecuadorians, you look at even the Panama team, the Qatari team at this tournament, you could see that this team has been playing together for a very long time. And that's what these tournaments are about. Yes, players are allowed to make mistakes. Players are allowed to show naivety because, I mean, they're still young in the game. But fundamentally, you know, there has to be a plan. There has to be a pattern. There has to be a philosophy. And all of that was lacking in the Nigerian team that we saw in this tournament. Yes, a few bright sparks. Okon was good. Makonjola was good. I thought defensively as well, there were one or two players who maybe covered themselves in a little bit of glory. But overall, as you said, the right word is underwhelming. By the way, that was a penalty in my book.
Yeah, the referee didn't give it. The reason I asked you about that, whether you're surprised or not, is because for me, I'm not surprised at all, because I watched this team at the under-20 AFCON. That was in Niger Republic in February. It was a bad side, you know, and I thought at the time that from February till, you know, May,
somebody would have done.
Nah, I mean, it's very little time to do anything. So I'm not surprised in any shape or form that they have gone to Poland and not performed well at all.
Yeah, again, you know, the ambition at this tournament shouldn't be to go and win it. It should be to put sides out there who can gain the relevant experience that would mean that, you know, they will develop properly, as we would expect.
That's the essence.
Unfortunately, we keep taking our eyes off the ball. We focus on maybe wanting to go and win it. We've never won it. With the way we're going at it, we may never win it. So we need to de-emphasize trying to win it, you know, and focus on trying to expose real
players.
Under 20
players who are talented, who have big ambition and want to be, you know, great at the game, and then give them a chance to thrive. Look at what England has done over the last, you know, 10 years, particularly. On the 17 champions now, on the 20 champions now, 4th at the FIFA World Cup, 2 English teams that won, that played the UEFA Champions League finals, have a whole lot of young Englishmen in there, you know, playing first-team football. So, I mean,
okay, what do you say maybe, because would you say maybe because of our performance at the under-17 level, recently, I mean, we've not qualified for the World Cup under-17 and all that, back-to-back now. Would you say maybe that's responsible for, we don't have that depth in terms of having players to come into the under-20? Tayo mentioned that we watched the AFCON, they struggled. Now, going into the World Cup also, we've seen what has happened right here. Would you say maybe that's the reason?
No, that's not the reason. I think that when we thrived in youth football, there was youth fund, you know, there was a strong youth system locally. No national team is able to really and truly do well sustainably at this tournament without a solid, sustainable youth footballing system locally. I remember in 2010, when Danny Jordan was talking about some of the legacies of the World Cup in South Africa, he did say that the Spanish team that was champions, you know, what they did when they studied them, or what they found rather when they studied them, was that across Spain, across France, across Germany, in those strong, you know, youth cultures, there are at least 15,000 organized youth teams playing every weekend, you know, kids under 10, 15,000, you know. So what that means is that there's an opportunity for people to learn, for young kids to learn the game, you know, to learn the rudiments. And you could see a lack of basic understanding of football yesterday. The
Nigerian team,
you know, yes, they displayed, you know, fundamental flaws. You know, couldn't pass the ball well, couldn't control it sometimes. Exactly, couldn't make intelligent runs, couldn't create options for the man on the ball. Those are fundamentals that you learn at under 10, under 15 levels.
And to just add to what you said now, I mean, in those countries with you know, proper structures and systems in place for developing football, the coaches have a large pool to pick from, and they don't end up going to pick, you know, certain players and have no business going to under 20 World Cup. Lastly, before we leave this, the Flying Eagles, let's talk about the coach. He's received a lot of flack on social media. Deservedly or not? Oh, really? Why so?
Deservedly, because end of day, I mean, whether you succeed or you fail, you'd have to take responsibility for. That's the make of football, you know. It's a high risk, high stake job. And when you make questionable calls, you know, and they show up in the result, you can't be spared, you know, the stakes. You'll get them. I would have thought that, you know, when Emmanuel Amunike took the team to, I think, was it Qatar, when we won the under 17 World Cup, why we loved the team wasn't necessarily because we knew the individuals. We fell in love with how they played football.
Yes.
We fell in love with the hunger, the pace. You know, it's about speed, technique, you know, at this level. Because as a youngster, you should be quick. You should be mobile. You know, if you're not mobile and on the 17th level, you're never going to be mobile. So when you have guys who look heavy on the pitch, for crying out loud, these guys look like they're in their 30s. Or they played like they were.
They played like, played like. I think that's the right word, played like that. Because, you know, we mentioned the fact that just maybe the coach, the time he was given. I mean, what happened to you actually allowing Amunike? We saw what he himself and Nduka Ogbade did together at the under-17 level. What happens if you leave these coaches to just be in charge of that age grade tournament on the 17 and on the
It's because fundamentally we don't have an understanding of how youth football should work. So we think that when coaches succeed at under 17 level, they should be graduated. You know,
it doesn't always work that way. It doesn't always work that way. I agree.
There are youth football specialists who are left in charge. For so many, look at Germany. You know, look at even Aimé Jacquet, who won the World Cup for France in 1998. He had been in charge of the under 17, under 20s for so many years before he, you know, even you know, in Germany, you look at, there are specialist, you know, cadet coaches who just stay there and nurture this talent.
Just churn them out.
It takes a lot more than being able to teach football. You need a lot of patience. You need a lot of personal interest in growing the men, you know, growing the boys into men, rather.
If you don't have it,
if you don't have that, you don't have that. If all you focus on is winning, which is a short-term goal, you are never going to be able to really and truly become a successful youth team manager. So the NFF and the guys who run it have to understand that fundamentally they have to find people like Nduka Ogbade and Emmanuel Amunike who understand youth football, because they themselves are products of youth football. And they were exposed to football at the highest level and know exactly how, you know, the Spains, the France, and the Germanys of this world have been able to build sustainable systems that keep producing world-class talent year in, year out.
I hope they will do that, because this wasn't a good one. I don't have any comment for the players. I mean, they just wondered. That's what they could give. They can't give more.
You don't give what you don't have.
Yeah, they don't have it, so they couldn't give more. We'll end it here, right, Tayo?
Yeah, let's leave it here for
Let's
now.
talk about Nigerian Professional Football League. There's the championship playoffs. Yeah, that's what it's called, Super 6 championship playoffs. The 6 teams are gunning for who is going to be crowned the champions of Nigerian Professional Football League for this season. It's starting in Lagos today, June 4th, and match day 1 will be having Eyimba and Rangers at 3 p.m., Kano Pillars and Aqua United also in action, and then the last one for the day is Ifeanyi Uba and, of course, Lobby Stars will be in action. And there's a gate fee attached to it, VIP, 1,000 naira and regular 200. So if you guys are free, you can go there to the stadium and just cheer these guys to reach. We know that MFM Lagos team, they are not here, but you can actually support any of these teams. Pick a side, I mean.
A lot of big sides. Look at
you can
Eyimba.
pick a side.
So I was going to say,
You're picking Rangers.
Eyimba, Rangers.
Yeah, come on. What more do you need?
Come on, that's like Liverpool, United,
you know,
coming to town in England.
Yeah.
So I think that fundamentally, which is great that we're using this platform to talk about, you know, this particular competition. We need to bring back the glamour, you know, to our local game. You know, years back, we wouldn't have needed to say anything.
Much. Yeah, everyone is going.
The place will be packed. The place will be packed. You know, because there is something that's gone out of our game that needs to come back. The glamour needs to come back. The local interest needs to come back. People need to support their local teams. I mean, when I'm out in South Africa, the thing that thrills me the most is on a typical Saturday, when the rest of us in Nigeria are going crazy about the EPL, for instance. If you get into a taxi on Uber or something, you know, they'll be listening to commentaries of local game. Sundowns playing Kaizer Chiefs. You know, Cape Town City playing, you know, whoever. So we need to get to that level where we pick an interest in our teams, we support them, because that's the only way we can grow our football. And as you said, this is as big as it comes. You know, Pillars, Eyimba, Rangers. Go out there, guys. Let's go watch these guys.
Absolutely. We need to support them. And for LMC, we have words for you guys. Just try as much as possible while you can bring it back on TV. It's also going to help a lot, because when you mentioned people listening to it in radio commentary and all that, we don't have it anymore. It's at a time when you have a cable network actually broadcasting Nigerian matches. I mean, it was getting more interesting. We're seeing good goals, and because of that, you're motivated to actually go to the stadium and watch. Right now, we don't have that anymore. So you can also, today is a public holiday, just use the chance and go to the stadium. And
there's no European football on TV.
There's
no excuse.
So there's no excuse at all. So it's even good it's happening at this time.
Yeah, so this can boil down to the fact that it's just down to probably someone's taste and preferences. It doesn't want to watch a Nigerian professional football league. So regardless of whether the money, gate fee, admittance is cheap, or there's no EPL today, it's a holiday, you still won't turn up.
Yeah, if there's no appetite for something, it doesn't matter how much noise you make about it, people won't go there. And how do you create the appetite? You've got to package it well and market it well. That's what it is about. It's a product, and these guys need to fundamentally understand that it's got to be made attractive. People have to want to go out there and support these teams. And I don't see that we have a plan to achieving that. It's not going to happen overnight. You've got to be able to look at it long term and say, this is the 5 to 10 year plan to get Nigerian football back to a point where there is local appetite for consumption. People want to see it whether live or on TV, or want to listen to it, follow the stars, because that's how you're able to create a true value, value through the chain, so everybody can benefit. Where people are not going out and paying 1,000 naira, whatever it is, to watch their teams. How do you, monetize the league? How do you monetize the league?
It looks like we have a work cut out.
Yeah, a big one.
Let's just put it that way. Let's move on now from the NPFL playoffs, which is going to kick off today. First match is going to be between Enyimba and Rangers International at 3 p.m. Let's talk about the FIFA Women's World Cup. It's 3 days to go, and FIFA World Cup are going to depart France for France, leaving Austria today for France, where they will be taking on a very, very tough opposition in Norway, Korea Republic, and France. Quick one on the Super Falcons. Your expectations?
I love the team. There's certain individuals that I'd love to see, as is Adostrola, obviously. Majibade, Rashidat as well. They've got a couple of exciting footballers. I didn't see at the Africa Women's Championship enough of the team to excite me, in truth. I thought that there's something fundamentally that has gone out of our game from a playing style standpoint that I thought I saw more in the South African female women's national team. They're more cohesive, unit. And I mean, I hope that in the time between the African Women's Championship and now, the team has gelled better, because you need that against tough opposition like Norway. When you go up against those teams that got solid league structures. I mean, you look at France. Olympic Lyon women's team have won 4 or 5 back-to-back Women's Champions League. In Europe, beat Barcelona 4-1 in the finals this year, with a lot of French players who represent the national team. So the quality is top notch, and to beat such a position, you have to have a plan. You have to have a structure. Physicality, yes, we have, but it can't be about dominating things physically. It's got to be about technique. It's got to be about having a plan, a route to goal, and taking your chances when they arrive. I hope that defensively we're able to keep it together, because these teams obviously create a lot of chances,
score a lot of goals.
Score a lot of goals. So to stand a chance against them, you have to stay in the game. You have to have a solid defensive shape, and then when you do create chances, you need to take them.
No second chance at all. It's not going to come. Once you get one, just take it. That's the way it is. Let's leave the Super Falcons of Nigeria now. Today they should be arriving in France because they spent the night in Vienna when they left Austria. But let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria right now. Okay, we have about 20 players in camp right now, or more than that. Yeah, at the minute we have like 20. 21. We still have more to come, because the coach is actually saying that some of them, because they played late and all that, and some of them in China, they played weekend game, the likes of Iwobi and others. By Thursday, you should be having a full house, and that's what he's expecting. Let's listen to Coach Kenneth Rowe. When we come back, he'll be doing the analysis on the players that could be dropped and the ones that could make the finalists. We have 25 players that will be around for the game against Zimbabwe.
We have different levels. Some of our players finished only 1 week ago, so they are still in the rhythm of the competition. They are still fit. Some other players stopped already 1 month ago. So these players must work much more. That's why we are working in groups. We did already 3 training sessions. Yesterday we started. This morning we continued, and this afternoon was also a very good training session. And tomorrow against 2 training sessions. So the work is hard. The players are not all here. We still have a few players who are not arriving yet because they are coming from China and they played this weekend, or because they had another week to do with the clubs. For Ekong, for example, only arriving at the end of the week. But we will complete, and I think on Thursday everybody will be here.
All right, just telling us the reason why some of the players are not here, and the reason why they're not here, and they will be around by Thursday. Is going to be having a full house for the game against Zimbabwe. They've had some training sessions and all that. We've heard from Gannett Rowe talking about the game against Zimbabwe. How much of a help is it going to be for the Eagles, especially those who haven't played football this year?
It won't help them much. Obviously, you're looking for a final opportunity to impress in a game situation and maybe make the cut eventually. But overall, I do hope for the sake of this tournament, because I'm particularly worried about the lack of excitement in the weeks leading up. I think that the Super Eagles not qualifying for AFCON the last 2 times has, pretty much diminished the interest. Yeah,
really?
the AFCON is coming around. Nigeria is participating.
And
there's no buzz. Yeah. I mean, come on. So for the sake of the integrity of the competition and the excitement of it, I pray that the Super Eagles do well at the tournament, and they have no reason not to do well.
Okay.
On the African continent, we still have one of the biggest, and the most qualitative assemblage of players. We're spoiled for choices. I mean, virtually all aspects of the game except for the creative midfield role. I still struggle because we still haven't found, a mainstay playmaker who we can trust to, make things tick for us, to dictate the pace of the game in the middle of the park, or dictate the rhythm of the game in the middle of the park for us.
Okay, we need to go on a break now. We'll come back. We'll be talking about for Champions League. He's got some thoughts on the big man everyone has been talking about. You find us. We'll come back.